What is up, everybody? It's Dr. Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations, and I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020 Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner given out by the Canadian Ethnic Media Association. I also co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that's sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And I am a featured contributor of the Fly Nubian Queen Network, which is powered by Dr. Boyce and Dr. Alicia Watkins. And that is the place where Black women have a voice. And their YouTube channel keeps on growing, 581,000 subscribers and growing. And also, I am a contributor, featured contributor on the Indie Soup Media, OTT, Over the Top. I think that's what they call it, OTT. I think I'm just making it up along the way. Network, which is powered by Dr. Tachi, and Indie Soup Media is only been around for about 3 weeks now. Content creators network that's featured on YouTube, Roku, and Instagram. And that reach of that network is over 1 million people. I also sit on their advisory board, so double for your trouble. Here's the thing, Indie Soup Media, this is their handle. So we got that going. So before we go any further, I want to say we're broadcasting live on April 20th. April done, family. April done. Want to thank all the people who are watching live too, and on the replay, especially on the Fly Nubian Queen Network. Appreciate not taking for granted. So why don't I bring up the main reason why you're here? It's not me. It's this person. It's that person. It ain't I. Aisha K. LaLa, what is going on, family? Hey, what's up? What's up?
Feeling good.
Well, of course you're feeling good.
Yeah, I kind of had a great whirlwind. I mean, it's a dream come true. So we went to Portugal, we went to Spain, and we went to Morocco. And we recorded pieces of 2 new songs to grab onto the whole idea of our Globetrotter project, which wherever country we go, we try to record a piece of music. So Globetrotter A and Globetrotter B, we've already been to many continents, but we've really created something wonderful to hook to also other musicians around the world. And it's nothing like it. I can honestly say that I am very happy to say that I have sang in those countries and had beautiful responses to it.
How was it touring with your hubby again?
Oh, we had so much fun, guys. We saw stuff that was like crazy. We were in Morocco and there were sheep everywhere, sheep and donkeys and camels, and we were riding down the road. I kid you not, we were riding coming back to go to Spain. And there's this flatbed truck in front of us. And we're like, oh, let's just get around it. And all of a sudden, this camel's head pops up out of the back. And he's looking around like, where is he? We had so much fun. So much fun. I lost my voice because of the weather down there. So I'm just getting it back. So if I crack tonight, guys, just bear with me.
I thought you lost it there for a second. When you went back like this and I heard nothing, did she lose her voice? See, again, I thought you lose your voice. So how much of this is documented? Because there's got to be a little mini documentary coming out.
It is. We have so much footage. And I actually sent some to Aisha. But Aisha, we got more. Hubby was like, here's some more. Let's put some more in there. So, and we actually, speaking of traveling, tomorrow is the anniversary of Prince getting his wings. I don't celebrate death days. I just don't, but I want to honor him. But we did do our song that we did with Jill. Jill honored us to perform on Doves, and also We Thank You. And so we performed that, and a lot of people were really happy to hear that, and people still, love him.
All right. Aisha K. Staggers, it's been a melancholy time for you recently.
Yeah. Well, the week was an odd week. All week I felt like something wasn't right. And then yesterday, as I was going into an appointment, I learned that something wasn't right. So we're going to do a tribute to her at the end. But Mandisa, I knew her as Mandisa Lynn Hundley. Just finding out that she passed away, it was hard because it's my sister back from Fisk days, and she loved Whitney Houston, and she and Whitney Houston both died at the same age.
Oh, wow.
It's also hard. But, we called her Stardisa. She called me Robin.
Wow.
And yeah, so it was that kind of week, keeping track of the news, and then having, some of your worst feelings and thoughts come to fruition.
Okay. Understood. Well, condolences to you, their family, and all their loved ones during this very challenging time. The family is here. So, of course, you know who's in first. Jen Myers. Hey, Jen
Hi,
Myers.
Jen.
FitNet's IQ Cam is in the house. FitNet's IQ Cam says, LaLa, loving the lipstick. Uh-huh.
Had to pull the purple out.
There you go. There you go. JJ Mars, of course, from Colorado. How are things in Colorado? Jen is giving hearts to Aisha. Oh, Sylvia Paris is in the house from Scotia. What is up? Sylvia Paris, hope you, your family, and the Scotia family are fine and safe. Always great to have you here. Make sure you're giving yourself grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy. JJ Mars says it's cold, snowy, and foggy here. Well, it's cool here in Toronto. It's okay, but it could be better. Could be better weather-wise. And
They got snow in Minnesota, actually.
Did they?
And it can stay there. It can stay there. And Ryan says, very sorry for your loss, Aisha. Ryan, thank you for still hanging in there. From being an intern to becoming a supporter, appreciate you big time. Before we do some appetizer stuff. So I see this afternoon that the House passed a funding bill for Ukraine and Israel. So here's my question.
But the breaking news now is 37 House Democrats voted against Israel aid. How is that news when you had most of the Republicans want to turn it down to begin with?
That's what I want to know. They're going to always trying to turn it on us when that wasn't
37 House Democrats versus 100 or so Republican members. Come on now.
Well, and how long is it Johnson? Mike Johnson?
Yeah. Oh, they gonna get him out of there. They can't stand him.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing. They're talking about getting rid of him, but I don't think they will. I think that she's on her BS right now, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and I honestly think that she's going to. If she does, it's because she wants to be speaker.
Oh, she wants to be speaker. She's just pretending that she doesn't want to be speaker.
I think she wants to be speaker because she knows Donald Trump's not going to choose her as a VP running mate. He's just not. She doesn't have the look. So her being, Speaker of the House is the highest position of power she could get because she'd be in line. She'd be in the line of succession for the presidency.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah,
not gonna happen.
No, they're not gonna let her have that. She's crazy.
Well, the thing is that they've got to rely on Democrats to save Mike Johnson's seat. And
because he's working hard right now. He's trying to keep saving on with both his fingernails, all of them, because they can't get him out.
Well, because here's the thing: there's two. You have to excuse me. My blood pressure cuff went off for some reason. You've got these two fractions in the Republican Party, so they're going to be split on how they vote. But Democrats also gained one seat, so Democrats are going. If they voted and stuck behind Hakeem Jeffries, all of them, guess who'd be the winner?
We got all sorts of shenanigans going on. Like it's like a whirlwind, a tornado going on in our government right now. You don't know where to look.
Never changes. Never changes.
Well, you know what? Could have been Marjorie over there behind on that flatbed with that camel self. It could have been her. Maybe she's trying to cause problems in Morocco.
OMG.
Just saying.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. Right? One of those lines. But he seems to be on like pins and needles every move he makes with the fellow Republicans.
But here's the thing, though, Dr. Vibe. They set this precedent of getting rid of speakers like they're water drops. Yeah. This is all they're doing.
And Kevin McCarthy allowed it. Kevin McCarthy allowed it because he wanted to be speaker so bad. It's like that was the compromise he made. That's a dumb compromise. So basically, you can just wake up on the wrong side of the bed and throw him.
All right. So Sylvia Paris, love it. Yes, I love it when we love you catch it live and spread the news out, especially on the East Coast. And JG Mars says Marjorie Taylor Greene is not too bright. She's not that far above the local moron here in Colorado, Lauren Boebert.
I know it. They run together.
It's sad because when you rank the two, Marjorie Taylor Greene ranks just above Lauren Boebert.
And Lauren is really holding on for her dear self too, trying to run for different areas to keep herself inside because don't nobody want her anymore.
She keeps moving around, changing districts.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like this isn't alphabet soup here. You don't get to move around in the bowl and pick the letters you want until you get what you want. No.
That's right.
And Regina, I'm out in the sticks with reception. We'll watch replay. Welcome back, LaLa. No problem. You catch what you can, Regina. No problem. But yeah, that's I'm just going, wow. Like they recycle new leaders on. I'm surprised he's lasted this long.
Yeah, me too. I really am shocked because they didn't like him from the get-go.
See, remember Marjorie Taylor tried to she threatened to introduce those things as soon as he was sworn in.
Yep, so did. She couldn't even wait. My man didn't even take his hand off the Bible before she was ready. She did too much.
That's appropriately her because remember, she had articles of impeachment for Joe Biden ready before she even took office.
She sure did. Wow. She is so sickening. She just makes me sick to my stomach. I literally cannot look at this woman.
It's crazy. That's what happens when you let crazy and deranged in Congress.
Yep. Well, we can even get them all out of there.
Already crazy and deranged. She's at home. It's the asylum.
Yes. There you go, Aisha. That's perfect.
OMG. Anything else we want to talk about in the appetizer before we get to main course time? We good?
We good. We got all sorts of main courses. Get ready. Y'all gonna have to let your waistbands out after this episode. Like a turkey dinner.
I haven't heard that one. Let your waistbands out.
Yeah. We're gonna need to put your sweatpants on.
Okay, before we go any further, let's do some stuff here. Primetime Saturday at Patreon. Catch the 10 and 10 episodes. There's the link there. The store. Buy them products. Do that thing. Maybe we'll get a mug with LaLa's face with a purple lipstick.
Actually, she has it in the main promo.
Yeah.
And so we do have mugs and things with her.
Yes. The purple. Yeah. The purple and the flirty hair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Join the Primetime Saturday Discord group. Please email me at dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. Subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show, especially on YouTube, and hit the notification button. And then follow me on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. And then if you want to advertise your business, product, or service on the platform, please email me dr.vibe@thedrvibeshow.com. All right. Monday, 45 jury seated. Opening arguments being on Monday. Go ahead, ladies.
Mamas and the papas.
There you go. Who's going to kick it off?
All I need to know is Somebody had to just do it. They had to release that my man fell asleep and farted in court. This is the funniest thing to me.
Yes. Okay. First of all, thank you. Let's address the big stinky elephant in the room that is Donald
Yes.
Trump. So I don't. Okay. So his attitude and decorum in court, it's about as trashy as those people that show up to his rallies in all the flag gear and the Trump hats and the sparklers and everything.
Yes. Yes.
And he had the nerve to be calling Joe Biden Sleepy Joe.
Sleepy. That's what's killing me. The whole thing. You know, he's sitting there calling Sleepy Joe. You falling asleep in court. You are on trial, dude. You can't even keep yourself open.
But LaLa, as much true crime and stuff as we watch, you know, every time on 48 hours, when they get the person that they know is guilty, what's the first thing they want to do when they get in the interrogation room? Sleep. Right. All the guilty ones want to sleep every time.
Every time.
You'll start, you know, if you haven't noticed yet, start watching those shows and you'll
better start watching.
When they get cornered and it's over, they start falling, they will be like, they fall asleep. They try to fall asleep on the table or whatever. But
they sure do. But I think, guys, out of all the stuff that's going on with him right now, and he can't keep up, I am absolutely ecstatic. I am here for it. I want a t-shirt with this judge's picture on it because he is not letting him get away with nothing. Yeah. First, he tried to squirm out because of Barron's graduation. No, sir, you need to be here. I'm going to arrest you. Then he said, well, I can't be here because I need to go to another case. No, sir, I'm going to arrest you. He threatened a witness. He threatened a jury person was talking loud and pointing at her, and he was like, no, sir. We're not having this there. I will arrest you. So I'm like, I am here for you. I am finally glad
he also told him to sit down.
So did. I'm like, finally, I am here.
Have a seat.
I'm so happy that we are seeing this. And if rumors are true, and you know, usually they do, a lot of the stuff is true. He is not happy with all these memes that are coming out about him and all this stuff. You sit up there calling people out, and now look at you. You are really showing your real character now. And so this weekend he's out on the campaign trail again. I don't know what his numbers are, but if anybody at all is following him, all y'all know they all need to go to the cuckoo house.
No, because those campaign rallies are the campaign rallies, the numbers are going down.
Yeah. Because they see that's, you know, even that's a little too kooky for them. But, you know, and there's just been bad news all around for him. Like he's probably not going to be able to get out of the January 6th stuff that people are calling on him. And, you know, I'm pretty sure Melania ain't having nothing of him. So, I mean, from what I hear, she's really on board.
Actually, I read a report that she's going to be going on the campaign trail for him.
Well, she has to.
She made some money. Yeah. Me money. Maybe money.
He can't. He has to be in court every day.
Let me ask.
Somebody has to.
Interesting little related story. The other night, do both you know who Stephen A. Smith is?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay, he was on. He was on Hannity. Yes.
Oh boy. I think that's like the second time he's done this, though. He did before.
And he was basically saying that Black Americans sympathize for 45 because when 45 says he's been unjustly handled by the judicial system, Black Americans can relate to that. What do you think about that commentary?
Bro,
that's like that thing if somebody says, well, we feel this way. Who's we? Who's this we?
Yeah, who's we? Which we are you talking about? Because it ain't me.
Who are these Black folks you talking about?
And they're showing the ones that he accused of in the park. And now one of them is sitting pretty in politics too. No, sir. That's not me. That's the same people who he paid at Chick-fil-A talking about they support him. Is he
talking about what is it? The cast of that, is he talking about the cast of that movie? What the Magical Negro I mean, basically, who are these magical Negroes that he's talking about support Trump?
Because I don't know nobody. Not in my circles.
Hmm. So did either of you think that this was going to become a reality? Like it's actually gonna happen on Monday?
I'm okay. I'm gonna be honest. Like there are days where I feel like nothing's great happened to this man, and it hurts me and it makes me angry as an American and as an American citizen. Because if it would have been us, if it would have been Barack Obama, this wouldn't have gotten even near this. Okay, there's nothing at all. But the fact that it is happening makes my heart happy because I feel like something is being done against the injustices. I find it pretty ironic that it's going to be the porn star that's going to take him down.
Yeah. And
That's it.
The other thing too about this starting on Monday, and do I believe it? I do, because guess what? He tried appealing every ruling that the judge made on every motion that they proposed. And what ended up happening is that the appellate court came back and was like, no. So his last ditch effort didn't work. So he has to go to court. They're going to do opening arguments on Monday. Or they call them opening statements on Monday. So you're going to hear the prosecution lay out their case. You're going to hear the defense lay out their case, and then we're going to get to see the witnesses and the evidence. But on Tuesday, remember, there's another hearing on Tuesday in this same case, because after the gag order that was placed on him, Trump violated it 7 times when they made the DA made the first request, like, hey, we need to do something about this. And then another 3 times after that.
He does not know when to shut up, but I think he's met his match at this judge.
Right, because see, the judge was going to make his appearance on that date about that hearing. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday. But once they had to do the second one, and he kept doing it after he knew there was a hearing, the judge moved the date up.
So this is a New York State trial, not a federal trial,
correct?
Okay, so basically, can the Supreme Court get involved in any way if he's found guilty?
Only the state Supreme Court can, but if he's found guilty, if there was anything that violated one of his federal protections. So for example, if it violated, like, say they find out in this stuff and that there was some information that violated his voting rights, for example, in terms of how the case moved through whatever, then the Supreme Court could get involved in that. He could take that to the Supreme Court and ask for them to either overturn it or get a new trial, because that is a violation of a federal law. But right now, he's mostly being held to New York law.
Which to me is great.
Which is great. And the thing is that if he breaks New York law, he's got to get New York punishment. Because remember, the federal prisons, people talking about, they can't put him in prison. Oh, yes, you can.
Yes, they can.
Those Secret Service men are just going to have to be brand new wardens and correctional officers inside the jail. You don't even have to put him in general population. Build a jail outside of the jail where it's just him and it could be surrounded by Secret Service. But he needs to be locked up.
But Aisha, somebody has put out a bill to have Secret Service removed from him. If he gets convicted, they are saying that he wouldn't qualify for that anymore.
I think that's very proper.
I do too.
And so even though this stuff is going on, he in the middle of this says he's going to testify. No, you're not.
Go ahead.
No, you're not.
Oh, I say go ahead. Go ahead, get up on that stand.
He can't do it. First of all, we know he can't control himself, but the reason he won't do it is that he can't lie about it. Because he will be under oath, and everything that comes out of that man's mouth is a lie.
It's a lie.
There's absolutely no way that if I was his attorney, I'd be like, there's no way you're getting on the stand. If you get on the stand, you might as well accept the fact that you're going to jail.
Can you imagine being his attorney? I mean, no.
Well, no, because they already tell his attorney, control your client and make
Yep,
sure
sure
he knows
did.
that he can't say that he can't do stuff. He knew what he was doing, and you know why? Because remember, he almost got away with it in the E. Jean Carroll thing. Remember, he was doing
Yes,
the mumbling of the breath, and
yes.
all he did was get verbally admonished for that. So here he
Well,
wants
not this
to get
time,
away with
bro. Not this time.
Man,
Not this time.
why am I feeling Kentucky somewhere in my hearing right now? I'm hearing Kentucky slang going on.
Got that right. My tucky come out when I get real comfortable.
But here's another.
I'm here for it.
But here's another thing. How can you pick an impartial jury? Like who?
Well, here's the thing. That's like the jury that had to sit and hear Michael Jackson's case. How do you pick an impartial jury? Well, because first of all, you establish the fact that everybody knows who this guy is. Period.
Yeah.
Especially if you're a New Yorker, which all these people are.
Yeah, all these people are.
So you establish the fact that everybody knows who he is. Then you start to they did those 49 questions. They started to ask them things about what they thought about him because they established the fact that everybody knew him. Not only as a New Yorker, he was president for 4 years. So
yeah,
so
it's kind of hard not to know who he is.
Right, so everybody knows him. So
tweeting every 5 seconds.
Right. So the questions that they asked from that on was really to measure the degree of loyalty to him or hatred for him. And anyone who kind of fell in the middle is pretty much what they got. I think that the people who said that they couldn't be partial were honest.
I do too. I really felt like people answered honestly. And I really love that. I love that people really answered honestly about them being on the. And then the one lady who was like, "Look, I can't do this. Y'all the media done already let out my name. I don't want people knowing I'm on this case." So I appreciate the fact that people were being very honest.
Yeah, and there was this one man that was interviewed by an NBC reporter, and he said, "No, I had to tell them I can't do it because he's like." I spend all my time satirizing Donald Trump on my social media. So of course I couldn't be impartial. So I think that people are more honest than what we give them credit for in these things, in these respects. Because remember, the other part of it too is that jurors can also be held accountable.
Yes, they can.
Jurors can break laws. Jurors can go to prison.
Yes. Yeah.
So I think that also kept people honest. And, I applaud those two people who are like, yeah, I can't do this because, they gave enough information out there so people know who I am. They were giving out current employer, former employer, where they're from, what they do, and educational background. And it's like, oh, wow, you just gave anybody and everything all they need to just Google this person.
It's pretty quite disgusting, and I don't think it should be allowed. And to be honest, I think the publication should be punished for that. This is our system. This should not be allowed.
Yeah, and it was Fox News people that did that. And here's the one thing that I think might actually save people who are testifying is that I don't think this judge is going to play.
No, I don't think so either.
I think on Tuesday, he's going to put something in place. I don't think he's going to play. And I think that it will protect the witnesses. That's one thing. The second thing is I agree with the prosecution. They should not be able to give the witness list in advance to those people because they will show it to that person and that person will have the information out in the public. And so the fact that they were like, they get it the night before, at 11 p.m. So, they might argue we don't have time to prepare. Well, guess what? They took that to the appellate court said no. So at this point, he just has to, own up to it. And it's going to be interesting to see what the witness list is after, because guess what? We won't even know. So
No.
it'll be interesting to see.
And aren't they getting ready to do backups? Make sure that they have backups.
Oh, they have all of them seated and sworn in.
Oh, they've got
have
them all seated.
They've got their.
I thought that was going to happen on Monday. I'm
The
behind.
judge wasn't playing. He wrapped that up yesterday.
He said he ain't got time to fool with this man. He ain't got time to fool with this man.
Like, I'm not spending my whole summer in this courtroom with this orange mess. No.
Mhm.
So we're going to see Michael Cohen again.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
But here's the thing. People talk about his credibility and whatever. Guess what? Criminals lie.
Yes, they do.
Have you known a criminal to tell the truth?
There you go.
Criminals lie. So guess what? He was held accountable for his crime. So now that we established that fact, and the defense comes out with what they guess what? Criminals lie. Your client is a criminal.
Yeah.
Of course he's going to tell the truth. Of course he's going to tell lies about Michael Cohen. But the problem here is that, remember, the burden of proof lies in the prosecution. So they will establish the fact that Michael Cohen has been arrested, has served time for certain things, like, the things that he violated, and that he was dishonest at first.
Yeah, they won't go unnoticed.
Right. But here's the other thing, is that the reason that you can trust what he says is because we've got paperwork, video, audio that supports everything that he's saying, so that it's not a lie. And so I think that is the saving grace. What he's really worried about what Stormy Daniels will say. And
I can't wait for her to get on the stand.
And the reason but the reason that he's afraid, it has absolutely nothing to do with her outing what he did and how it affects the public. He's worried about what she's going to say about his size and his stamina, because already she said that it was like a stack of dimes.
Oh my gosh.
And people laughed, and she, afterwards, when she came out, she started putting things out like that. So he's worried about that being written into the record.
She's a force to be reckoned with.
And becoming the
She's
news
not afraid
story.
of him.
Yeah.
Well, she has nothing to lose. Well,
no.
Hold on. You know what? You never know with allies of 45. I'll just leave it at that.
But
true, but you know what? She got the dime on a lot of people, and they all should be shaking in their boots.
Yeah. And the other thing is that, remember, Trump likes to portray himself as being strong and virile and manly, and she can take his manhood like that.
2 snaps. Reminds me of the
In Living Color.
Thank you. That's what I thought about. Yes. Snaps. Yes. What was that? What was the skit? What was that reoccurring skit?
It was like
Men on Film.
That was one of the best skits, I swear. Half the things that we grew up and loved would not be allowed today.
I know.
Absolutely. April Watson says, "Rest to the man that set himself on fire."
Yeah. I don't understand. I followed his story, but I'm not sure that these two things are connected. He
was really mentally unstable.
Yeah.
He did throw flyers up in the air. And there was a couple of things that he did say about also on Biden as well. But I don't think he was mentally stable. And it's just sad to hear that anytime that happens, that it happens.
Yeah. He doused himself and set himself on fire. And I was thinking, and I'm thinking to myself, what is this, Vietnam? Because remember, there were people who did that during Vietnam.
Protests.
And it's like, I don't understand. Why would you set yourself on fire? What is you setting yourself on fire going to do, as opposed to setting fire to the building? I don't know. And I feel really bad for him, because there was mental illness there, and it did delay things for the day. The thing that I'm thankful for, though, and may he rest in peace, is that it didn't delay everything. They took care of business, got him to the hospital, and then they went back to the court and said, you can proceed. Because I think Trump thought that was going to be something that would get him out of that day.
And that's what he's praying for, because he wants every day out of that court that he can get.
Absolutely. Ryan says honesty is so crucial and valuable here. I don't know how anyone could be impartial. And he corrects his spelling honesty, but I may cover that. So impartiality, we'll see. It's going to get a good test here.
Well, here's the thing. It's impartial. You can have hatred and dislike for someone, but when the evidence says one thing, like for example, it's like when the evidence says one thing, even though you think another, you have to go with what the evidence says. It's like if the person, I would like to see Trump go to jail for the things that he actually did.
Yeah, true.
For those things. But if the evidence says that he didn't, he shouldn't. But I want him to go because the evidence says that he does, that he did it.
Which is the way things are supposed to be. And that's what bothers me the most about so much that's going on in the world. This whole thing of being impartial, or you're all wrong just because you don't believe what I believe in, or this is not the way I grew up with. I mean, there were many people I grew up with that had different thoughts, but we honored each other by respecting each other, and we would have good conversations. And then we would find out, hey, wait a minute, we don't necessarily believe too different, but we just believe in different ways of and implementing these things that we're thinking about. So we no longer have that. I feel like you can't even express yourself with so many people bashing you before you even say your name. Perfect example, like Aisha and we told you, you saw a couple of weeks ago how we were talking and trying to educate you. The first thing out of somebody's mouth is how we look. So, but this is indicative of what's going on in the world. So we have a serious problem with being able to even communicate anymore. And that is a dangerous thing.
Well, we also have to blame the technology too. And remember, this has a lot to do with this case because they're going to abuse technology to spread misinformation and disinformation. Of
course.
And the fact that, you have a whole generation, actually 2 whole generations in this country who really don't know life without a cell phone.
Yeah.
And so they are so in tuned into that. They don't know how to have the real conversation, LaLa. So if they don't know how to disagree without everybody's got to clap back at somebody and this and that because people are watching on social media and they don't have their confrontations and their conversations in private. Everything that they have is public.
Yep. You remember when it was even rude to ask somebody what they registered for? Like, who'd you vote for? My mother taught me that was rude. You never ask anyone.
Never. I mean, that was how we were raised. It was like, no, you don't tell anybody who you voted for. That's your vote.
Like, and if you want to advertise it, fine, but you don't ask someone.
No, you don't. You never ask, because guess what? With regular conversation, you can kind of suss that information out yourself. Sure. But they don't know how to talk to people, and it's something, because LaLa and I talked about this in our 10 and 10 that I'm actually going to post tonight. I was saying how I tell my daughter, hey, call Nana, that's my mother, and she'll go away. A few minutes later, I'll be like, did you call Nana? Yeah, I sent her a text, and I'm like, no, I said call her, like pick up the phone, because the way that they see in contacting people, if you say to call someone, for a lot of them, picking up the phone and speaking to someone directly causes a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean,
all right. Well, I'm sure next week we'll have the first little rumblings of the official trial. Should be very interesting and never a dull moment. And we've got,
y'all better listen to 10 and 10 this week, because I'm sure me and I can go and jump up in there.
Those jurors better bring nose clips.
Aisha, why'd you go there? Come on.
Well, it was needed. Somebody had to say it.
Oh, geez. April says, I see.
And I bless their nose hairs because, oh my God.
I seen it live, just a cloud of smoke trying to put them up. I think it's time for a break because you guys are just getting a little bit out of order. So let's go for a break. We'll come back in about 2 minutes and we'll have another interesting conversation topic about some progressives in the United States and what they are looking to get from America. So hold it tight. We're here on Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa. Hold it tight. Lock it.
You know, and that's what I feel like. You feel like you're the Harriet Tubman of the mind.
I am.
I feel like I'm I'm one of the Harriet Tubmans of intelligent Black people. Like I want to liberate y'all from like being left behind and ignored and oblivion. Now, really, the rappers get all the attention. You know, seriously, does anybody else feel this way? Like ignorant Black people, they'll be all up, you know, getting all the headlines on the Shade Room.
Overly sexualized Black folks.
Like the twerkers and the, you know, just people that, you know, don't always represent the best of us, you know, the diversity, you know, like people like Dr. Vibe. Like everybody should know about people like Dr. Vibe. Dr.
Really
Vibe he's trying to do good work for Black people. Dr. Vibe from Toronto. Good to see you, my brother. Dr. Vibe. Everybody follow Dr. Vibe. He has a great show. He's very good at what he does, and I have a lot of respect for him. The men who are also doing the same thing. I see Dr. Vibe in here. He's a great brother. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. He's a smart brother in Canada, and we need to follow smart people. So follow Dr. Vibe. If you see him in the chat, and Dr. Vibe, say your name in the chat so people can see you. I want you to click on his name, and I want you to go follow him, please, because I want these men and women that are doing the right things to get the support they deserve. Hey, Dr. Vibe, how you doing, brother? Again, like I always do, I got to say everybody should go follow Dr. Vibe. He's got a great show. Dr. Vibe, I know Dr. Vibe's got a kingdom because I see your channel. I see you pouring into that every day. Everybody should follow Dr. Vibe, by the way. Look him up, Dr. Vibe, V-I-B-E. He's a great friend of me and my wife, and I love this guy. Okay, so let me hop into this. What's up, Dr. Vibe? How you doing? Everybody, if you see Dr. Vibe in the chat, everybody go follow the Dr. Vibe show. Dr. Vibe is a real smart brother and a good human being. I like the guy a lot, and he's very intelligent. And I think everyone should pay attention to what he's got going on. We got to shine the spotlight on the intelligent Black people out here that are really doing the good work. Don't just pay attention to the rappers and the celebrities. You know, a lot of these people are losers. Your true winners are your people in your community that are really having your back. You know, helping us to have stronger families and a stronger community. So Dr. Vibe is in that category. So you might see the Dr. Vibe show in this chat. If you see him, please go follow him. Okay. All right. So anyway.
We are back Primetime Saturday with Aisha and LaLa, and we are having a good time. And let's continue on with the conversation. So the American Progressive Caucus agenda for 2025. Who are these people?
The Progressive
Crazy.
Kentucky's in the house. Crazy.
No, but
Crazy.
and some others, you know, Squad and all those people are part of the Progressive Caucus. I guess some people consider them the opposite of the Freedom Caucus. However, I read the agenda, the full 7 pages, and they make some very good points. And not only that, but all the people who are always up here talking about, well, what is so-and-so going to do for Black people? Read this agenda, because a lot of the things that they have in here are specifically for Black people, people of color, and other marginalized human beings. And so I was really impressed with the especially the housing part. I think that housing part was so important because they talked about stabilizing rents.
Well, that's really important. And I need to make a clarification. I forgot, I'm mixing the two up. Let me make sure that I'm correct. I'm mixing the two up of the ones that came out and called themselves farts. Sorry, Aisha, I was thinking the other group. So no, these people are not crazy. It's the other people who are crazy.
Oh, yeah. We have to, just as a side, the Republicans in the House that don't agree with what Michael Johnson's doing has called themselves the Freedom something. Anyway, the acronym spells fart. So that is what they call themselves. And all the news headlines are like, oh, the silent but deadly, you know, fart team.
Yeah. So I had those two mixed up. Sorry.
So this, it's easy. But remember, because we went over Project 2025. This is the reason why I brought this up, because the progressive agenda for 2025 is it has it has a lot of teeth. It's an actual platform, and it's designed to help people. Like, for example, like I said, under the housing, increase the supply of affordable housing, eliminate the Fair Cloth Amendment to allow for needed expansion of public housing stock, provide incentives to convert vacant commercial facilities into residential properties. That's a tax credit for a business.
Yeah.
I mean, they talk about doing more for homeowner assistance, affordable housing,
which is so needed.
Right. In the Affordable Housing Acquisition Fund, they want to establish a permanent fund to prevent the loss of viable rental options in the wake of an economic downturn. So if we have another pandemic, they're going to make sure that people's rents are lowered so that they can survive that pandemic.
Yeah, they can make it.
That they can, that the government can subsidize that. So, and talking specifically about Black people, universal child care is something that our community needs. It is something that our community needs. They talk about Medicaid and Medicare, and the thing is, they want to expand them, which is an excellent thing. And not only the affordable drug manufacturing is what they want all the drugs now to be made affordable, not just for seniors, but for everyone. They want to also crack down on maternal and infant mortality, address the maternal and infant mortality crises and their disproportionate impacts on communities of color, particularly Black women. That is something very specific that they want to do for Black people, for all those folks who come on here and be like, oh, what are they going to do? Right. That is something very specific for us. So I would encourage you to read this. I think anyone who reads this agenda for this progressive agenda, I think anyone who reads it and really pays attention to what's in it, the voting choice is obvious. And I'm not just talking about the presidential, I'm talking about the down ballot races, because those are the ones that make up the Progressive Caucus. So,
but the thing is, they also made it a point to seriously address these things. It's not like they just threw a list together. They actually kind of gave action plans behind this. So it's not like they're just throwing it out there like what these crazy other people just throwing anything out there at this point, and not having a plan or an agenda to get these things in place.
Right.
Literally, this other group that we were talking about, the fart, it sounds like a joke, but we're saying the fart thing, but it's truly a group.
Yeah.
Are there just to be disruptors and to really not have any kind of plan whatsoever, because we all know the GOP has no plan at all right now.
Right.
So
and that was a choice. Remember, somebody said, well, what is your platform going to be? And they're like, we don't have one.
Yep, sure did. Just said that straight out front. How's that for disruption?
Well, just before we go on with this conversation, a visitor has come back. Let me just pull it up. Look who's back in the house. Someone named Michelle Hayward is back.
Hey, Michelle. Hey, girl. Hey.
Michelle says, hey, y'all. She's going, hey, y'all. And she also says, this may be looked at as socialism. Your thoughts?
You know what?
When did they make that a bad word?
I think unless people read it, they'll hear, oh, it's socialist, it's socialist, it's socialist. I don't understand what's socialist about capping the cost of medications.
Yeah, God knows.
When we're the only country that pays what we do for healthcare out of pocket.
It's really quite sad. Yeah.
Wait, and remember too, the Republicans are talking about the IRS. Guess what? That's in here too. Improve the IRS. provide free filing tools and pre-prepared returns to all Americans, protect and increase resources for the IRS to improve customer service, close the tax gap, and modernize its operations to better serve taxpayers. Everybody hates the IRS for the very reasons of the things that they want to fix, okay?
Exactly.
So I think that unless you actually sit and take time and read it, and then not only read it, but each point, take it and apply it to your life. Take it and say,
Yeah,
well,
see how it affects you or your loved ones.
right. If this happens, I can do X, Y, and Z, or so and so can do X, Y, and Z, or so and so will be protected from this. So, especially like the reason I said the housing one was so interesting to me was because remember, we have a generation here right now of young people who cannot go out and get an apartment because they can't afford it, even with roommates. So you have young people getting out of college and living with their parents longer because the rents just aren't affordable. They have something in here to make the rents affordable, not only to make the rents affordable, but provide subsidies for people. It's like, what can you pay? We'll get the difference.
Right. Right, which is so needed. It's interesting. There was this young gentleman on TikTok this week, and I was just scrolling through, doing my normal thing, just zombieing out. And this dude came on with such a good, my heart broke for him because the first thing he says is, how is it that I make 4 times the minimum wage and I can't afford to move out of my parents' house? He said, I don't have anything fancy. I don't drive a fancy car. I don't eat out a lot. I don't go out a lot. I'm pretty much a homebody. But by the time I pay my car payment, my gas payment, how can I afford $2,500 rent on a studio apartment? And then be expected to pay for the utilities and anything else to feed myself or whatever. How am I supposed to do this? He was literally asking questions for real, not making a joke out of it. Or he's like, I want to be on my own. I do not want to be in my parents' home, but I can't afford it on what I make with 2 jobs, making 4 times more the minimum wage. And his point was right on the nail.
Yeah. Someone had a TikTok video that was circulating where he was saying how you want to fix Congress. One of the things, first of all, let's cut out you having to fly to Congress and us having to pay for it. We have Zoom. You all can Zoom in your sessions, and also we have the technology that you can vote from home.
I loved his analogy. I thought it was
loved
perfect.
it when he said that. Then he said, as far as their salary, they need to make the minimum wage of their state.
For their state.
That would be what they are paid. And he had some other things to do. He had 5 things, but those 2 stuck out to me because I bet, put it this way, we would have good people who mean well in Congress, who want to do the right thing, if they had to make the minimum wage of their state.
That's right.
As salary.
Instead of getting paid by all these lobbyists.
No extras, because guess what? The person that does that has heart and passion for the people.
Well, just to interrupt for a second, Michelle says our local candidates matter so much. She goes, I need to read it because I want to know how it ties into the infrastructure law and the CHIPS Act.
Yeah, both of those are mentioned in it.
And then she goes, people read? When did that start again?
Yeah.
And then she also says, I see some Justice 40 in this Congressional Progressive Caucus Proposition Agenda Executive Summary. And again, I sent out 2 different messages to all the platforms. I sent out the long link first for the document, but then I resent it with a shorter link. So take a look at the post I put out there in the comments with the shorter link, and it'll take you right to that document. Continue on,
yes,
ladies.
But I suggest everyone read it. If what you need to do is you need to sit and read Project 2025, and then read this Progressive Caucus Agenda 2025, and make your decision on who you're going to vote for, because one of those is designed, everything in it that they have is designed to strip you of your freedoms. The other
And
one
we
is to
don't
try
have
and
to let you guess for
money.
which that one is. We did a whole show on that one. So if you don't have time to read it, which I hope you do, please go back and watch our show a couple of weeks ago because we truly broke it down for you.
Yeah. And so, and even still, compare this conversation we're having about this agenda to that conversation we had about 2025 and make your vote. I think that there are some things in here that I really think that if he had the audacity to speak on them publicly and declare them things, Joe Biden would have no problem with the groups that he's struggling with right now, especially
Why
young,
doesn't he get
especially young
on this?
especially young people. I think that they just released it. So I hope that his campaign people are like, no, you got to start saying some of these things, because honestly, this progressive caucus agenda, it really speaks to young people. I can see it's the kind of stuff that, remember, young people liked that Bernie Sanders was talking about. They've got loan forgiveness in here, but they've got some other things about student loans and helping to reduce the cost of them, and whether or not you can be charged X, Y, and Z. Because guess what? If Joe Biden doesn't get to forgive everybody's loans, you got to remember, these loan companies, I can't tell you how many times my student loans were sold, and every time they're sold,
Oh God, you don't even know who owns them anymore.
that interest gets put on you. You're paying the interest on what they sold, and so you're wondering, like, how am I ever going to get out this hole? Because they keep selling, and I keep getting back, a backup of fees. And it's like, you know what? You can feel like you have half of your student loans paid, and then they sell it at the last minute, and you're back at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm. Very beginning. And
right,
you
and
think you going to your grave with the student loan debt. No, that's not even a joke. That's truth.
Yeah. And so this Project 2025, you can look at how they have these things set, and you can really see what legislation could come from it. With Project 2025, there's no legislation that can come for it. That's one man saying, I want to go after everybody I hate. This here is a plan for how to make things more equitable,
and a good plan,
how to give people opportunities, and how to fix what's broken.
I like to see them try to debate this, because honestly, it is a really good plan. Well, you can't debate something if you don't have a good plan in place. And this is a good plan in place. Now, nobody is saying this is a be all, say all. This is exactly how it's going to go. You got to plan things, right? Plans sometimes change, but it's still a good basis.
Yes.
Right. So Michelle says, when my sisters told me their student loan company was acquired, I screamed. And then also she says that student loan company was for the borrower. OMG, I told them to pay off their loans ASAP.
Yeah, because most of these companies are for the banks. They in their own business. It's like, remember there used to be Freddie Mac, Sally Mae, and I forgot the other female one. But Sally Mae swallowed up Freddie Mac. He didn't have a chance.
Sure did.
Okay. And then she took up the other one too. It is the last standing. And even she sells out from time to time to other companies.
Yeah. That's what's scary.
Wow. So your suggestion, everyone should read it.
Yes.
Okay. It's a must read. And Michelle, I think some people will. Just to say, some people still do read. Just want to make sure you realize.
It's only 7 pages compared to the 900 pages that the Republicans wrote.
How many?
It's only 7. The Project 2025 is 900 pages. Yeah, we read that whole thing, both of us.
And by the way, I think that maybe it was purposely for that long, so people didn't want to go through the whole thing.
Exactly, and find out what was what.
All right, good stuff. Let's move to our next conversation piece. Sad story. Milwaukee man charged with dismembering Black woman after their date. What?
Yeah, we talked about this on 10 and 10 this week, but it's really a sad case. And Aisha and I were discussing how hard it is, and how you have to be careful with who you're meeting online, dating apps. This young lady, 19 years old, um, was talking to a man who's 33 years old on the app. They met in a public place. Somehow they ended up moving away from the public place. He brutally murders her. He dismembers her. He burns her and burns the car. And she was missing for a while, but I will say, thank God, they ended up finding her faster than normally we hear these stories about.
And they didn't find all of her.
They didn't find all of her. And
They
so
found
now
her leg and her foot.
And he's not speaking. He's not saying a word. And so he has these charges against them. But it goes to show, we talk about how this has become such a digital world. And most people nowadays don't go for like normal coffee and stuff. I'm pretty sure they talked quite a bit before they decided to actually meet face to face. However, you never know who you're really going to meet. So you should always make sure that you're meeting and staying in public places. And even if you can, bring a friend along. She ain't got to be on the date. She could be having coffee over in the corner, or at least let people know where you are and who you are going with. Be a sounding board. Her mother didn't even know that she was going out on this date. So the fact that this happened, there were so many red flags that, you could say shoulda, coulda, woulda, but we want to bring this to your attention because you need to be very aware of what you are doing and who you are meeting in these digital streets. You really and truly don't know. Perfect example, and Aisha and I did speak about this on 10 and 10. I have secret jewelry that will notify the police and give them where I am if I ever feel in danger. All I have to do is touch it. And even your phones, your iPhones, you can set it up to do an SOS with a certain amount of taps on the side of your phone that will contact your emergency contacts and will also send out an SOS to the police. And that's another form of layer of protection if you don't have a friend or you're not telling somebody you're meeting people. Although if you can't tell somebody you're meeting someone, 9 times out of 10, you shouldn't be going to meet that person in the first place. But this does not forgive the fact that this man took this young girl and brutally murdered her, has no regrets, guys, no regrets. He just walks in like he don't even care, like, and now there is no why. He probably he woke up that morning, decided that's what he was going to do. And that, because that's where we are right now on the levels of crazies out here. But now this poor mother is going to have to deal with not having a daughter in her life. And we don't know what her beautiful story would be or what she could have become, all because someone had the idea that he was going to go out and murder that day.
It is so disturbing because, the two of you are married and I'm out here single, and dating is weird right now because most people meet and start to form relationships online through any of these apps. And sometimes those apps can get weird. Like, for example, I had a guy ask me if I could do an older man, if I liked older men. And he was like 78. And I'm like, you're older than my father.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't do that. You're older than my father. You're closer to my grandfather's age. And just it's weird, but the signs that people can't pick up. Remember when we were younger, LaLa, they always used to tell you to watch out for the nice boys because they're the ones that undercover
Yes,
are sneaky and doggish. That pretty much holds for these internet streets, people.
yeah.
Then you got to be aware of the nice ones sometimes. But this to me really hurts because that poor woman, young woman, she had no idea that she was meeting her killer.
Yeah, exactly.
And she thought this was going to turn into something that could be a promising relationship. Instead, he comes up there being, thinking, oh, this is going to be the end.
Exactly. Now, I'm also extremely proud for the people, like they went to a bar, and the bartenders and the waitresses were very on it. They were able to tell the police a lot of information, which caught him very quickly. And normally, if it's someone in our community, we are way months down the road before we hear anything about these cases. But people who were involved and who could report on what they could did. They stepped up. It was the perfect example of see something, say something, because they didn't take long to tell the police what they saw.
Yeah, and I really hope they haven't introduced this and no one has said it, but I really hope that it didn't have a racial component to it.
Right.
Because on top of that tragedy, that would be even worse.
So
Right.
Michelle says for a Black woman, they worked fast.
Yes,
They did.
Says for the victim being a Black woman, they worked fast. Yeah. Ryan says very true. There can never be too many precautions, even when you don't see any red flags at all. Fitness IQ Cam says sad. And she also says, the word Aisha, 70 what?
God.
Yeah, no thanks.
78.
78.
I'm like, dude was a whole 30 years older than me.
Wow. Be careful. Be careful.
I'm trying.
And I'm saying this to men and women.
Yes.
Not just
because, honey, don't forget. Listen, Aisha and I know there's a whole series called Deadly Women.
Yes.
You are not.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I love you.
On ID Network. Yes.
Those women are ruthless. Those women are ruthless. Trust. I mean, they've got what, whole 14, 15, 20 seasons of women.
Yes. So for people who don't know, all three of the people you're either hearing or watching right now were all true crime people. Right?
Also, there's the one about the wives with knives.
Yes.
There's that one, and then there's the one about killer boyfriend.
Yes.
So y'all, yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
You think she gonna overpower you? No, women are real good about getting you where you don't expect it, especially in your food and your drink. So you better be careful.
Look, if you turn your back, you best believe she's got a hammer.
Michelle says that 78-year-old man wants a nurse.
No, what he wants is a funeral director.
Oh, wow. A funeral director. That's crazy. Wow. That's
pretty foul.
Yeah. But no, this is a really sad story. Yeah. And I just say, it's Aisha's interesting. I hear that the digital dating streets, I've heard some pretty scary stories.
Do you know how, look, it's not even the scary part. I changed my photo on my on one of my profiles, and my mailbox filled up with like 65 messages.
I saw that, Aisha. It's cute too.
65.
Yeah, about 2/3 of those messages were sexual.
Oh,
all right. Let's move to the last comment.
And so that's like, to me, that makes this whole dating thing weird.
Yeah. That's enough said. All right. Let's go to our last conversation piece. Not a sad, not a good, not a happy one. And from one sad story to another sad story. So, Aisha, we're gonna let you lead on this. Mandisa, go ahead.
I met Mandisa in 1996 at Fisk University. Her dorm room was right across the hall from mine, and the first thing I heard before I even knocked on the door to say hello was her singing. She was in the room singing. And if you were around Mandisa was always singing, and you enjoyed it, you liked it. And that year she auditioned for the musical that the school did, that Fisk did, and it was Dreamgirls, and she played Effie. And I remember I went 2 nights. The first night when she sang I'm Not Going, I had tears in my eyes. And the next night me and my friends went, because her father flew in from Texas, and so we went with him to watch, and he just cried every time she sang. And Mandisa and I had a good friendship. We had a weird friendship. Talk about 2 people who were probably so much alike. Sometimes they didn't get along. But I was thinking about how, she and I used to, we all used to go to Chili all the time because it was close to the campus, but there'd be some late nights and it's just me and her. And it's like, let's go. We go. And we would share that chocolate chip cookie thing in the skillet because that was her favorite. And we would just sit and talk and laugh. And she had a great laugh and a way of saying things, she's like, right. And then just like, when I had my daughter, Mandisa and I had been in touch, and my daughter's probably 1, so it's like close to 2004. And I had been watching American Idol since I was pregnant in 2001. And I said to Mandisa, I said, and I actually we were emailing each other, and I found the emails the other day, yesterday, and I said, you should audition for American Idol. And she was like, no, I don't think so. She's like, I don't think I want to do the TV route. Next thing I know, when the season came, there she was. And I believe that was the same season as J Hud and Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
And just the performance that she did on that show of I'm Every Woman by Shaka Khan, I knew she was going to nail it the way that she did because I'd heard her sing it before. But being that Whitney Houston was her favorite artist, she gave it the Whitney Houston version from the Bodyguard soundtrack. And so the notes were even a bit more ambitious. But when she had to hit all those notes, I knew that night that she was going to be one of the top ones that night. And I don't think I've ever been so proud. And then when her album came out, we talked, and she had her book coming out, and we chatted about that. And she was very honest about experiencing depression and talking about mental health. And I think that is something that most artists and most creative people are never really honest about. Creative people, depression hits them hard.
Mm-hmm.
It really does. And there are days when, you feel like being creative, and then there are other days where it's like you don't feel like doing anything. You just want to be left alone. And she, but she, she had such deep faith in God and Jesus. And I think that is what kept her on a straight and narrow path through the music business. But she also found her niche because, back when I knew, when we were like coming through as young women, she wanted to be a superstar like Whitney Houston, right? But when she got her contract and she stayed in Nashville, she found her niche in contemporary Christian music. And she made some good music. And even when Robin Roberts came back from GMA, from her breast cancer recovery. She did an interview with Mandisa and said that her song Overcomer really helped her. And she was also a Fisk Jubilee singer. So she had that tradition as well. And we're always so proud of that. But I am devastated. All of us that lived on that wing, that C3 wing, are pretty much just numb. And she's the first one of our group to go. And last year we lost another friend, Shanka White Ducre, who was in the Elvis movie. She played Big Mama Thornton. She was found in her sleep last year. And those two are two of the best singers I know to come out of Fisk. And I miss my friend.
I hear you. Yeah. Well, I know she's heard what you've just shared. And we just want to say again, condolences to you, and especially her and her family and the Fisk family. A real difficult time.
She had such a beautiful smile, and she was always smiling, and even when it hurt.
Got it. I think we will end the conversation with that. As always, I want to say thank you, especially this week, to both ladies for taking time out of their positive, productive schedule to hang out with y'all. Since I see if I can get some Kentucky blue blood or purple blood. It's blue blood, Kentucky blue blood. But LaLa's wearing purple, but blue blood into my veins. And so first things first, Flirty Hair, where can people get a hold of you?
Well, guys, X let me back on, so I'm back on Zitter, Xylophone, Zitter, whatever it's called, and I'm also on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook as Living the LaLa. I look forward to seeing you there.
Yes, and big shout out to Dr. Tachi last night for stepping in, big time. All right. Oh, and Dr. Tachi, wherever you are, however you're listening to this, you're always welcome here. Aisha.
You can reach me at Aisha, aka Staggers, at Instagram, Aisha Staggers on Twitter, and please join our Discord group because we can talk there.
All right. Thank you so much. All right. How can you get a hold of me? Here are all the places. The Dr. Vibe Show website, the THEDRVIBESHOW.com, YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Dr. Vibe Show, Instagram at the DRVIBESHOW.com, X/Twitter, because when my intern said, well, not everyone's used to X, may not know what X is yet. Okay, no problem. X/Twitter at DRVIBESHOW, and email dr.vibe at the drvibeshow.com. All right, you can watch replays of this epic conversation on the Dr. Vibe Show at YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn, and on the website, the drvibeshow.com. Got some few last comments here, so let's swing them on. First things first. Wonderful show, Jen Myers says. Sylvia says, her powerful memory will be. Thank you, Sylvia. Hang out for the whole show. Love it. April Watson says, wish you heaven Prince. Tomorrow, 8 years. Absolutely. 8 years. So that makes April 21st, 8 years since the royal purple man has left us. All right. That's it. That's all. So let's call it another epic conversation. As always, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions, then aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Don't just manage your time, manage your energy. And remember to give yourself grace. God bless. Peace to all. Keep the faith. Walk good. And Mandisa, we send our love to you.